Hello, folks. Coming to you with another episode from what I like to call the cargo hold. Alternate location, of course, still. A little bit of stuff going on in the old location, so I'm still in the Lego room here. Going to be talking about something here that I don't think a lot of collectors remember or appreciate. A lot of complaints over the last few years about 5 POA, points of articulation. People don't like the way that Hasbro went, especially with Force Awakens, into Rogue One, into Last Jedi, the cheapness of the figures. The fact that figures that we had from Clone Wars to Saga, Legacy, all had multiple joints of articulation, uh, bendable knees, elbows, wrists that turned. Beautiful figures. Don't get me wrong; these are some of the best figures that they ever created. The line ranging from about 06 or 07 all the way up until they decided to dump the whole Legacy, Clone Wars saga, and everything like that, and start moving to this 5 POA crap. You can obviously tell Hasbro had somebody else come in charge and make the big decision. It all started with the Rebels figures, which were terrible. But back in the day, I want to say 1998, 1999, around there, around 98, we had what was called the Expanded Universe. Of course, now they're called, I believe it's the Legends. Basically, any Star Wars stories that took place in comics, novelizations, video games, even, was considered the Expanded Universe. Things that just weren't movies but were good enough that they could be, at that time, canon. The big ones were the novels by Timothy Zahn, the Heir to the Empire trilogy, and the Dark Horse Comics Dark Empire. And they made a few figures here and there, maybe 8 or 9 of them, some little small vehicles, things from like the Macquarie concept art of vehicles and stuff like that. But these figures, though they may have been 5 POA or even maybe 6 POA, were really good figures. And they were the same price as standard figures at the time. The green card, orange card, freeze frame, stuff like that at the time. And not only were they a good figure, but they came with like a little mini 3D environment, like a little backdrop, free. Now, if Hasbro can do that and still make money on each figure, what is their problem now? How is it that they had to give us the cheapest crap on earth and claim that it's, like the greatest thing since sliced bread and every collector out there is going to buy into it? Some of these figures actually turned out to be some of the best figures I thought of the series. Let me show you one right here. One of the figures I was very happy with is Princess Leia. Now, it's her character from the Dark Empire comics series. And it's, quite frankly, I think it's a really good sculpt, too. You can see it right here. Very good sculpt. All right, nice outfit. Now, of course, you can see when you remove the cloak right here that she's got a good outfit on underneath. And, okay, yeah, it's 5 POA. It does have, a little bit of a pose. It's not like a figure from back in the old day that didn't have didn't have bent arms or anything like that. So it's a good figure. Comes with a cloak. I think the detail and the molding is very good, and came with good accessories. There's a red lightsaber, of course, and she has a blaster. And now again, here is what's great about it. It comes with a little 3D environment. I cut away the card, and it opens up like so, okay? And it has these 2 twisties here that you pop open to hold the environment together, okay? Give me just a moment here, and I'll put this out and show everybody. So you have this really nice little 3D environment here, okay? And then you can stand her on it, have her walk up it, whatever you want to do. Okay. And the environment is exactly as it was in the comic. Okay. It's got everything you could want. You put the figure there, do anything you want to display, pose, whatever you want to do. And it was pretty sturdy too. It's got multiple layers here. It's got a thicker outside to it. But I mean, it even says comes with 3D placing. That's an awesome figure. You've got a decent looking sculpt, which I think, quite frankly, at the time and a little bit since then, this is really good Leia sculpt. Lightsaber and blaster. Folks, this is the Leia that people wanted to see in Force Awakens. I understand that Carrie Fisher, rest her soul, everybody, I mean, she is royalty to all of us. But this is the Leia they wanted to see. They wanted to see her as, she took up her father's legacy of being a Jedi. Her brother, just as her brother did, became something, not just a senator, not just a politician, but a Jedi as well. That she still had some abilities. Not the flying through space Peter Pan weirdness that we saw in Last Jedi. Don't get me started on that. But this is the character. It's a shame that they waited so long to do this. If this were 10 years before Force Awakens, we could have actually gotten this Princess Leia because Carrie Fisher was still a little bit younger and everything. I'm going to move on to another one. Luke Skywalker. This is a same character from the same comic series, Dark Empire. It's where he's gotten a little bit of a touch of the dark side in him. And just as a little bit like his father, uses a red lightsaber. And it's a really good figure. Again, good detail, good sculpt. I like the coloring to it. He actually has a full outfit underneath the molding rather than it just being like blank plastic or whatever. And again, you get that same 3D scene that the others do. It was even a new Luke head sculpt because the Luke heads at this point were not the best, but it's an older Luke. It's a Luke who has spent several years being a Jedi and is a little bit more weathered than what we saw in Return of the Jedi. Now, this figure is going to come from the Heir to the Empire book series. Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and Last Command, written by the great Timothy Zahn. Awesome books. If you have not read them, even though they are considered legend stuff now, I suggest you do. They are absolutely awesome. The big baddie that you get from that series, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, they did not make the first figure of Thrawn with the recent Rebels series. No. They made Grand Admiral Thrawn in the Expanded Universe line in 1998. And here he is. It's a good figure, showing off that white uniform of the Grand Admiral. Now, you might see that little creature on his neck. You're like, what is that? That is what's called the Somari. They were a creature that was negatively opposite the Force. So somebody wearing this it created like a field around them that the Force couldn't penetrate. He was immune to any sort of suggestion. He was immune to Force lightning. He was immune anything that a Jedi could throw at him. This creature would actually cancel it out before it affected the person that it was around. And trust me, in the book, he needed it. But again, it's a good figure. It's a brand new sculpt. And yeah, again, okay, yeah, 5 POA. But I just don't understand how these 5 POAs can still look good 21 years after the fact. And yet the figures for Rogue One and Last Jedi and Force Awakens, they look like they were done by inept designers. They're just, and they come with all this stupid accessory crap that nobody wants. No, even the kids don't want any of that stuff that they've got, all those extra like fighting gear and missiles and just whatever the hell that crap is. They don't want that. Give us a nice little scene to do. Give us a diorama thing. That's what people want. Not sure if you've caught this or not, Hasbro, but a majority of people who are buying your toys are adults. That's just how it is. Do you think it was 10-year-olds who backed the barge? Mm-mm. I would be very surprised to find anybody, any parent in America, who spent that kind of money and gave their barge to their kids. I mean, there are a few, but it was an adult collector toy. Last figure, before I get on a tangent here, is the Clone Emperor. Again, this is from the Dark Empire comic. And of course, this was another thing of the Legends line, and of course, a very interesting concept that at the end of Return of the Jedi, that bluest energy that you see shooting up from the reactor of the Death Star was not just random energy, it was Palpatine's essence. And of course, brought him here, the Clone Emperor figure. Again, good sculpt, good detail. I mean, you see that he's actually got an outfit underneath, lightsaber and everything. Again, coming with his 3D environment. Great figures. You know, they made several figures in addition to it. You can see they made a Kyle Katarn and a Dark Trooper, which are from the video game. Oh, they don't have the Dark Trooper on there, but there's a Dark Trooper. The Space Trooper is from the Heir to the Empire series. The Imperial Sentinel is from the Dark Empire comic. Sorry, brain fart there. And these were just good figures. I would buy these in a heartbeat over the stuff we have now. With that being said, I don't ever understand why these didn't hold their value. When they came out, they were very expensive. I saw Dark Trooper figures selling for $30-40 a piece because they were like the greatest figure on earth. Now, even though I think these are superior to a lot of the figures we have nowadays, they just don't hold their value for some reason. And that's only if it's important to you. Like for me, I don't care what the value was. These are awesome figures. If you're a collector looking for collectible stuff, you can get some of these dirt cheap, sometimes between $5 and $10. They're just really good figures, and I think they're overlooked for their time. A lot of people look at anything pre-Attack of the Clones, or even the first Attack of the Clones line, as, you know, $3 figures, $2 figures, buy them in bulk, and, you know, use them for cannon fodder and stuff. I really think this line gets overlooked. So if you're a collector who maybe wasn't around at the time when these came out in '98, or you were just a youngling, check these out, buy a couple of them, and really just sort of, you know, invest some time into getting to know the stories behind them, because quite frankly, the Timothy Zahn trilogy was really what people wanted in a sequel to Return of the Jedi. People wanted to see that. They wanted to see Dark Empire. They wanted to see those kind of characters. But because George Lucas took too long and just never got around to it anyway, you know, the window of opportunity was missed, and we're now left with things like The Last Jedi. But this is Chris signing off. Another episode from the cargo hold. Catch me next time. I'm going to do another video this weekend talking about one of my favorite rants, Amazon and Hasbro. But till then, may the Force be with you.